Stahl, Global Investment CEO and CIO of Crossmark. Woo! So many things to talk about. Which ones are you watching the most closely to move the markets?
No question, earnings pre-announcements. Earnings estimates have been coming down. We think they'll come down some more.
Why?
The economy is weakening. We've seen that, the ADP report yesterday, the unemployment claims you talked about today. We'll see what the actual employment report is tomorrow. But remember, the soft data is collapsed over the last month or two. Mm-hmm. The hard data tends to follow. I don't think it'll collapse, but I think it will weaken.
Hard data is the numbers that we get. Soft data is the surveys.
Surveys, the confidence levels, all of that. Yeah, exactly.
But the market performance has held up really, really well, has it not? You look at the S&P up 17% since the worst part of it in April.
Better than I thought it would have done. The decline didn't surprise me. The rapid comeback did. Now, look, the bulls would argue strong first quarter earnings, yes. Economic data thus far, A-OK. Don't worry about it. And a lot of people are saying the tariffs are just about done. I'm not sure it's quite that simple.
Well, you saw what the president said today, and the market moved higher when he said that he had the call with Xi Jinping.
And he said there's a deal.
Yeah, he said he didn't even say finalized.
There may be a framework. There's no deal yet. We don't have a deal with the UK, which is the first that was announced. That's a framework. Getting from a framework to a deal, it'd be like you and I decide we're going to go work together somewhere. The details are all important.
Yes, but where, doing what?
Yeah.
So you look at the Russell 2000, it too was down, popped up into the green. It's been kind of squirrely here. It's up just a fraction at the moment. But do you think that that is why? And therefore, what is the leadership possibility when it comes to different sectors?
I think the leadership will be in quality. It has been to some degree, which you can find across a lot of different sectors. Financials have done reasonably well. We think they will continue as a sector, but you can find high quality, good return on equity, rising free cash flow, and lots of different sectors.
But Bob, you've owned Tesla, you've not owned Tesla in the past. When you see that these comments by President Trump, and by the way, there is a late Truth Social that he has just posted, and in it, he says Elon was wearing thin on him and the team at the White House. You know, Elon is really going after President Trump, but you see how important what the president says and does in the Oval Office in real time can mean. He said he's wearing thin. I took away his EV mandate. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions. There you go. He took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that, quote, nobody else wanted. He knew for months I was going to do that. He just went, all caps, crazy. Well, the stock, people went crazy selling it.
Look, that the two of them, with their massive egos, would come to blows was easy to predict. My assumption would happen before they separated, but they separated, and now they're arguing. A lot of people will listen to this argument for quite some time to come.
Would you buy the stock here? It's a lot cheaper today, down 13.8%.
I have one account that is long short. I am short Tesla, thank the good Lord, today. I think it's still expensive, and I have a hard time just explaining the fundamentals.
Okay, well, that's a headline. You're short Tesla there. You are long a couple of other names, including Qualcomm, MasterCard, and Gilead. So you are the international guy. You look at everything. Why, if you say earnings are slowing, justify why you're picking U.S. stocks and not expanding elsewhere, or are you?
The MasterCard and Visa, both of them, their earnings estimates have been going up. Lots of good things happening.
I guess there's an international component there.
The big international component, absolutely. Gilead, some of the same. Look, you know it's all about HIV and cancer drugs, and they're making progress. They have some bumps along the way. Qualcomm's the most controversial of the three. They're not using, or I should say Apple's not using their modems like they were, so they have some work to do, but it's only 12 times earnings, so they can figure it out.
Can I talk back about the tariffs and the impact? We haven't yet seen, I mean, here and there, some anecdotal evidence of prices rising. Now you have Fed heads saying, expect to see the price hikes in the next quarter, in the next couple of months. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, said today he expects to see the impact of tariffs within, as he said, about 5 months. So what will that do to earnings?
I think it's going to put pressure on them, Liz. Look, I think we're going to see a lot of confusion around inventories. There'll be some goods where people pre-stocked, and there's going to be more than you can possibly imagine on the shelves. There'll be other items where you can't find anything. Maybe exaggerating a bump, but I think it's going to be a whole bunch of cross currents when it comes to inventories, and I agree prices will be pressured to the upside.
You still feel the United States is the best thing going?
In the long term, yes. I wish our valuation was more attractive relative to the rest of the world, but we are, between our technology, AI in particular, our ability to be productive in what it is that we do, so many growth areas that other countries don't have, the U.S. is still a great place to be.
Yeah, Palantir's been a growth area.
There's a good
Again,
example.
we've got the CEO coming up. You long or short that
Long
stock?
that one, thank goodness.
Okay, long Palantir, short Tesla. These are good trades, at least when you look at the past couple of hours, certainly. Although Palantir's down a bit, we're going to look more into that. Bob, great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.